And away we go. It is the nightcap right here on BearcatJournal.com. Brought to you as always by Galactic Fried Chicken. Visit www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Download the app for Android, iPhone, everything Galactic. Get down to Dayton, Kentucky. Tell them to pump it up. Save yourself 15%. Or get on the app. Get it delivered pretty much anywhere inside the 275 loop. And they will get you taken care of. Please, as always, support our good friends at Galactic Fried Chicken. Open Wednesday through Sunday, lunch and dinner. All right, Aaron. This one's not going to be an easy one.
We're supposed to have this done before midnight.
Yeah, we're starting at midnight.
We are starting at 12:02 to be exact.
Yeah. Bearcats did a lot of things they probably should have done to result in a win.
You probably could have finished that sentence that the Bearcats did a lot of things.
Yeah.
There were a lot of things that happened in this game.
They had a great run over the final 11 minutes of the first half. They went into halftime with a 9-point lead. But ultimately, in the second half, they played a team that is really good on offense. Like we talked about this last night. Tulane is – we talked about this a night and a half ago or whatever it was.
I took the over in this game.
Yeah.
At 154. And I was nervous at halftime.
Yeah. But ultimately, the story of this game is we found out how fragile Cincinnati has been on defense and how much Victor Lakhin meant to their ability to defend at an elite level. Because Tulane went into halftime and said, okay, Cincinnati does not have their big man. They do not have their rim protector at the back end. And we are going to attack the shit out of Cincinnati's defense for the entire second half and ultimately overtime. On the night, Aaron, Victor Lakhin played 7 minutes. In his 7 minutes, he had 4 points. He was 2 for 2 from the floor. And without him, essentially for most of the game, Tulane went 18 of 29 at the rim on layups and 4 of 4 on dunks. 22 of 33 at the rim. You've got your tinfoil hat on. Let's have it.
Okay. We're going to take out their best defender, and then we're going to take out their second best defender.
Yeah, but neither of those were like, take the guy out.
Vic landed on a foot, and I will never, ever say that it was an accident, but I won't ever say that it wasn't an accident either. Like, I never know in those instances because we also
he was
know,
going for a rebound.
I get it, and he came down, and he came down awkwardly. I don't know. I'm not
There's
saying
nothing malicious about how that
I'm
happened.
not saying it was their fault. I'm not saying it wasn't their fault. I don't ever know when those things happen and people are banging around the rim, especially when a second injury happens in the same game. It's weird to me anyway, and anyone can take that as they will. But I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying this is why there's the tinfoil hat. This is why there's the tinfoil hat. But I'm just saying, you take out their best defender and you take out their second best defender in the same game. It seems a little weird. In the same game that, by the way, you have Ron Hunter, who has kissed referees' foreheads before, and that's been okay. And you have a ball launched into the 15th row.
I don't understand why Doug Shows, who is one of the worst officials in college basketball, was staring right at the play, watched the guy throw the ball 15 rows into the stands, and didn't do anything about it. Like, you want to know what happened?
They only have 20 stands, Chad.
Yeah. You want to know what escalated this situation towards the end of the game?
Everything.
It's
Everything.
why there was almost a fight. It's because you
Everything.
allowed that to happen. A guy that just
Everything.
takes the ball and throws it like on a play that didn't count. He got the ball in the basket after the shot clock, took it out of the net, and threw it 30 rows up in the stands in a place that only has 20 rows. That's a technical. That is as automatic a technical as there will ever be in the history of college basketball. For somebody to do that, let's say hypothetically that the shot was good, right?
No, I'm going to do you one better, Chad. Let's go in relation to Fifth Third, right? As far as he threw it in his arena,
I would have caught it.
Chad, that's somebody throwing it into the bar,
right?
Into the bar region of the
student section.
Well, not the section that you can see on the telecast, but on the other side where all the alumni go and
yeah, it would have been over me and up into the upper deck almost.
It's insane to me that was okay.
Yes, and that started the ill will.
Why wouldn't it?
Yeah,
that's not a thing that happens in college basketball. You don't just ever. If you did that on the football field, for God's sake,
yeah,
threw it 15 yards into the. I mean, if you
the
punt
stands or
that's not okay.
How is that not called? Especially with the crew chief standing. Doug Shows is
2 feet
one of the
away.
worst officials in college basketball. He was standing right there. He watched it happen.
2 feet away.
He was so concerned with whether it beat the shot clock or not that he just completely ignored. And guess what?
They went and reviewed it, Chad.
Well,
they went
and reviewed whether. Well, but listen. Let me finish. It wasn't all that close. The ball was in his hands as the horn expired, and he still went up and put it in. This wasn't Octavius Ellis, where it was like off, whether it was off the fingertips or not. He was 3-4 tenths of a second late with the ball in his hand. That should have been an easy call.
I hate to even bring that up because fuck UK.
But here's what happens. Here's what I think is the problem in basketball now, Aaron. Officials are so
we're reviewing the wrong things
on review.
Yeah.
That it doesn't matter whether we get they think this in their heads. It doesn't matter whether we get the call right or not. We watch what happens. We blow the whistle dead, and then we automatically his brain is already on. We've got to go watch whether that was good or not.
You don't have to watch
not
anything.
Watching the guy take the ball out of the net and throw it 15 rows up in the stands.
Take into account everything that happened during that whistle.
Yeah.
And dissect all of it. What are we doing? The fact that I take it to an arena that actually has fans, and we're not talking about it because it doesn't seem like a crazy thing that you just launched it 15 feet into a 20-foot arena because you hit the ceiling on the way down or whatever.
Yeah. Here's the other thing that I think that people need to realize about this team. Without Victor Lakhin, you don't have somebody you can throw it to get you a basket consistently at the rim. And you don't have, as much as David DeJulius and Landers Nolly have been phenomenal for this team, getting them to this point, you don't have in either of those guys the ability to truly break down a defense and get to the rim. We saw that with Jalen Cook and Jalen Forbes. They broke down Cincinnati's defense and they got to the rim and they used backdoor cuts and they forced the Cincinnati defense into bad situations because of the way Cincinnati had to defend them without Vic on the floor.
I'll disagree.
This is why Wes has recruited guys like Jizzle James and Day Thomas is to play downhill in late game situations. Because when you play downhill in late game situations, you either get a clean look at the rim, you get a clear pass as the defense reacts to your drive, or you get fouled and go to the free throw line. Landers and Dave, that's not what they're best at. What they are best at, they're great with the ball in their hands, creating jump shots, right? That's what Dave and Landers create. We talk about Landers' pump fake all the time. We talk about Dave's step back all the time. You know what we don't talk about? Their ability to drive to the rim and get an and one. How many and ones did Tulane have in that game? It felt like 100. They had 3 in the opening segment of the game.
Dave used to be great at it, but he's gotten away from it.
Because teams have defended him differently.
Well, I don't know that whether tonight was a case of that or not. When you don't have a big down low that you can actually get it to,
where he's gotten great. That's the pick and roll with Vic.
Well, and that's not enough.
The pick and roll with Vic.
No, but between Odie and Kalu, they put up 25, and that's crazy for somebody down low. 25, you know 25 is crazy for somebody down low.
I don't think you want me to look this up, but I will look it up.
Go ahead. I'm also going to make the point that Landers and Dave have largely been double teamed up high, in my opinion. Correct me if I'm wrong. Things that you've seen.
Dave a lot. Landers not as much.
So they're not going to allow. Well, everybody knows that Dave's floater is probably the biggest weapon he has outside of his step back.
Yeah.
Maybe before his step back even. But
the last field goal, okay, we talk about the 16 and 13 from Odie. This is what
I was talking about 25.
For both of them. Okay. Well, the last time that either one of them scored a field goal in regulation was with 9 minutes remaining in the game, because Tulane changed their coverage and started covering the roll.
Makes sense.
And once they started covering the roll, like a lot of Odie's 16 came from wide open, like looks at the rim off of a pick and roll.
It's just crazy to me that a team that has struggled, Odie especially, Kalu also, this entire season, they've struggled to score down low, and together they put up 25 tonight. And if Vic had been healthy, I think Vic goes for 25-30. 25-30.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Depending on how long he stays in.
I was wrong, actually. Odie's last basket was at 7:17 left in the game.
Okay.
So that's 12 minutes that they didn't get anything from Odie, and maybe they should have tried to run more. Like I'm not disputing that fact that maybe they should have tried to run more downhill stuff, but it's just not a downhill team, Aaron.
Maybe he should have brought Kalu in again. If you're looking to get somebody down low, don't get me wrong, I have harped on Odie all season. I want him to go up 2 hands and finish, and God damn it, he did tonight.
Like what, 3 dunks, 4 dunks?
At least 3 or 4. He went 2 hands and he went strong and he finished. And again, I've been very hard on him about that this year, and I'm very happy he did that tonight. I was equally happy with Kalu doing just everything. What Kalu did in his 9 minutes of play, having 9 points and looking like a competent person in this conference, was amazing. Nothing short to me of amazing from where he's been to where he is now.
I just wonder, hopefully, and Wes sounded like after the game that Rob Phinisee suffered a season-ending knee injury.
That sucks.
Which, it's heartbreaking, because that dude, he didn't have a great start to the year. He got hurt. He fought his way back. he has clearly been an impact guy over the past 3 games.
Sure.
Um,
One of 3 players who was plus in the plus minus
Yeah.
tonight. The leading player, by the way.
And potentially somebody that could have came in on Jalen Cross or Jalen Cook and slowed him down a little bit.
Yeah.
Because he was electric down the stretch. He was the best player on the floor.
But again, what are we doing down there in Voodoo City?
Yeah, it's heartbreaking for the team because that's a game they should have won. Like they took every punch from Tulane. They got it back to a 6-point lead with 2 minutes left, and they found a way to, like, they had 3 shots go in and out. Where if one of them falls. We're not talking about any of the everybody wants to fire Wes and that, like,
you're talking about Jeremiah Davenport. You're talking about Dave Julius. You're talking about. I mean, everybody had a shot. It felt like.
Yeah, but I mean, right down in those last 2 minutes, Landers had a shot go in and out. Dave had a shot at the end go in and out. Everybody wanted to call a better play with 10 seconds left. Well, if you don't have a guy, and this is why it's so important to get guys like Jizzle and Day, because you need someone that can get downhill regardless of what's happening. Dave is not a guy you just hand the ball to and say, turn the corner on your man and get into the paint. That's not his game. His game is step backs, floaters, pull up.
On the other side of that, I do want to say, isn't that supposed to be Landers Nolly's game?
No. Landers is not a beat you off the dribble guy.
I've seen him beat people off the dribble.
He pump fakes closeouts.
He is the best, maybe the best pump faker in the entire.
Right, but you know how hard it is to get a pump fake off of 10 seconds to where you move the ball, it gets to Landers, he pump fakes to closeout, and then is able to get in position to score. With 10 seconds, that's really hard.
I just wonder how much better he'd be if he actually drove more.
That's fair. It's just not something you can do easily with 10 seconds on the clock. Like, that's why Tulane
I'm just being devil's advocate in a game that sucked. In a game that we watched in pixels a la fucking Nintendo original Nintendo style.
It wasn't original Nintendo. It was growing up watching porn on cable.
I made that reference.
I said it. Fine, I said it.
I made that reference to Rachel tonight. And
that game was watching porn on cable in 1992.
She said, I'm not going to say.
I don't want to. Don't out her. Don't out her. Every red-blooded male over like 37, 38 years old knows exactly what that game looked like. And I felt like I was pretty good at watching it.
I was so mad that I couldn't see the fucking score. I could see where the ball was 17 seconds ago.
You know what made me more mad? The first half, for whatever reason, the video feed was like 4 minutes behind what was like the live.
Yes!
What was live. The second half, it got a lot better in the second half. It was actually, no, it was. I'm telling you, I was watching Stat Broadcast, which updates live. It was still 2 minutes. Okay, well, it wasn't 4 minutes. So I adapted a little bit better than in the first half. But the announce crew was terrible. The video was terrible. The broadcast was awful. It increased my aggravation. And then they lose a game like that where they allow a team to score ultimately, what was it? 71
in the
71 points in the second half. No, more than
Let me ask let me ask you this: Wes Miller teed up
73
in the second
points in the second half.
half. Wes Miller teed up in the second half. Your thoughts?
No, overtime.
You're right. It was
Good.
That,
He should have been.
It was that way.
He should have been.
Did you want him to be tossed?
Was
he trying to be tossed?
Probably trying to get tossed.
Just to prove a point.
Yeah, what they allowed to happen at the end of that game,
through the entirety of the game.
But yeah, but you're like
throwing a ball into the 15th row.
Yeah.
I think he actually probably let too much happen. In a game that had, which is crazy to say,
but you can't get a T.
In a game that
had he got a T, you can't get a T.
In a game that had 39 fouls, I feel like not enough was called, and that's the craziest part about all of this.
In that situation, you can't get T'd before he got T'd because it's going to cost your team the game.
It did. 100%. There was no shot at getting back. You can't Reggie Miller against the Knicks your way out of that.
Right. Down 6 with 20 seconds left, whatever.
Correct.
It was brutal. The chances are they're pretty much at this point locked into the 4-5 game unless something crazy happens down the stretch. They have to get Victor Lakhin back as soon as possible because this is a completely different team without him. And this is a team that has relied on him to be their anchor at the rim. And without him, I don't know that they have an answer.
You were locked in at 5-1. I'm at 4-3, correct?
I still think they get to 12-6 if Vic is healthy.
Still not feeling good.
You're sticking at 11-7.
I'm not feeling good against
Memphis
Memphis and
Central Florida.
UCF. Yeah. Not feeling good against either of those, but
neither are going to be easy. Neither are going to be easy. We'll see. That wasn't a lot of fun. All right, that's a wrap. We'll see you tomorrow night. It's the nightcap. We've got John Cunningham tomorrow night, and potentially maybe there's rumblings of a Dan Simon return tomorrow night.
Return of the Mac.
We'll see.
Return of the Mac.
Thanks to Galactic Fried Chicken. This is the nightcap right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See it.